stay on that job, by the way. My first day on America's Most Wanted as a full employee is September 10th, 2001. Damn. In DC. So I'm there, like my second day of going to work is 9/11, right? And like and so then my whole show becomes like profiling. We just profile Bin Laden every week, right? Like,
still looking for him.
Yeah, and I'm like at the White House, you know,
what?
Because we're doing pressers from like, you know, whatever all they would talk about is terrorism. So then they would send our crew to the White House. So I would just be sitting on the lawn, you know, that West Wing lawn just out there, calling friends like, I'm at the fucking White House. And then
flexing on people.
People would be like, you know, they can hear you, right? And I was like, oh yeah. Like, I'm just like,
yeah, dude, this place is fucking awesome. Where are you guys drinking at?
This guy's a cop. I don't trust him.
Did Boomer ever get that weed? What's the deal?
Tell me a joke to you is not the thing to say.
Not the, can you sit down?
Yeah.
You have to work it out in front of you.
How much time do you have for your joke?
Sometimes it takes me a while to get there, you know?
My dad took me to he goes, I want you to go to lunch with my friend today. This was like a couple of years. I was like, okay. And I go, the guy was in his 80s, okay, which is fine. But so the guy goes, like, immediately we sit down. He's like, I got one for you. Like, immediately I go, what? He's like, so a guy walks into a bar, right? And he starts telling me these like street jokes. And I'm like giving like polite, that's a much older man. And he goes, now you go. And I go, what? And he goes, tell me some of yours. And I go, oh, I don't have jokes like that. He goes, what the hell do you do up there? Your dad said you're a comedian. And I was like, they're longer. And he's like, okay, tell me one. I go, it's not going to work, man. And he was like, what the fuck?
Did you do it though?
No. The only time I ever did that, which was the worst experience of my life, was I did a call-in one time to radio. I remember in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I had a show coming up, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're gonna be at the club," and blah blah blah. He's like, "All right, let's hear something." And I go, "Nah." Yeah, he's like, "Just give me one," and I go, "Nah." He's like, "Go ahead, give it to us. Give us a little taste." And I was like, "Okay," and I just started doing like a
bit.
Like I just went into a bit, and it ended, and he was like, "Okay," and I was sitting there in my hotel room like this, like I want to die. And then I hung up, and then people started to message me. They're like, you're getting ripped apart by this radio guy right now, like as being an absolute piece of shit comedian. I was like, he knew what he was doing.
We spent our lives hating these regional radio douchebags, and I just can't believe we're all radio guys now.
We are. We're all radio guys. I had a bigger dick, and they go when their dick's showing, they go, you know, it gets bigger. I always tell people, you know, it gets smaller, because I'll see my dick at a stage that I think is small, and then later I'm like, what the fuck happened to that? Like, it'll go further up inside of me. If I do like any type of
this is so ridiculous.
Any type of like exercise, any cardio or something, it'll like invert itself, and I have to. But it grows like 1,000%.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
but I have to say, the other day I walked in on you and you were showering, and you turn around, and I was like, damn, like you had a really good hang and
because there's like there's days and there's moments and there, you know, like,
why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, you know, it could be like that day that you came in the shower or saw me, I probably hadn't ejaculated in like 4 days or something.
Wow.
And then I wasn't scared. I was warm. There was warm water in the shower.
Yeah.
You know, all the like the moon and everything aligned.
I wasn't scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear will do it.
Fear makes your dick.
Everything will. Your body will go in. I mean, it doesn't mean that it happens to everybody, but it's a like men in like if you are actually in fear, like your testicles and everything will come in closer.
Right.
That your body's like what's it called? Like saving mechanism where it's like protect yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I remember one time we had these movers come in, and dude had like, I was like making sure that we were like in a bad neighborhood. Dude's all like tatted on the neck and stuff, and I pulled her aside. I go, my dick's so small right now, because I was like watching these guys go through our house,
My dick's so small right now.
Yeah.
What a weird. That's what you wanted to let her know. Not hey, watch these guys, but my dick's real small.
My dick's really small. Fully loaded thing, you're definitely going to throw down.
I know. And then Diaz is there, and Big J, and
Diaz is going to give you guys all fucking stars. You know,
I can't fuck with that shit,
dude.
I'm gonna fake.
You know what he'll do? He'll do that. He'll be like, "What are you, a fucking Momo?" And then he'll be like, "You're not going to do it." It's fucking it's fucking like a little chick in a skirt, and then he'll cut a corner off, eat that.
Okay.
And you'll be like, all right, and then an hour later you'll be like,
have you done that with him?
Yeah, dude.
I can't do that
Nightmare.
shit.
Dude,
I freak out.
So I did his podcast. This is like, I don't know how many, like 7-8 years ago, and he's like, eat one of these. I'm like, no. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because it's a fucking 800 milligrams, dude.
Yeah.
So he cuts a corner off. Like I'm telling you, he's like, eat that. And I'm like, all right. Like that's literally, it's like you could put it between these two little things, and you know, it tastes like you're eating a crumb of a cookie or something.
Right.
So I'm like, this is fine. I sit there, we do the podcast like this. By the end of it, I'm like, and I don't realize how fucked up I am, right? I'm like, all right, it's good to see you, man. I go downstairs, I have my car out front. I get on, I put on the directions, and it's like, make a right onto the freeway. And I drive straight, and I was like, oh shit, it was right there. I'm like, fuck. So I go, all right, I'll turn around. So I turn around, and now it says make a left on the freeway. I drive past it again. I'm like, motherfucker.
Oh boy.
So then I turn around again, and as I'm pulling up to that entrance, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I look to my left, and it's LAPD, and I'm like, I'm just like panicked, you know?
Oh yeah.
So instead of turning on the freeway, I'm like, don't get on the freeway. You're too fucked up. I just go straight. I pull onto Ventura, which is like the big street in the valley. I pull into a Ralph's parking lot, and I just put the car in park, and I'm like, fuck. And I just turn my head to the right, and in the car next to me, looking at me like this, is Dice.
What? No way.
Yes, I swear to God. And I'm like, I feel like, you know, I'm tripping right now.
Yeah,
I'm just out of my mind. And I'm like, there's no way I can drive, right? There's no fucking way I can drive. So I call an Uber, and you
left your car?
Yeah, I left my car at the Ralph's.
Wow.
And I'm so fucked up that, like, first of all, the Uber driver is a woman, which is pretty, like, kind of rare, I guess. And I'm like, I'm cool, don't worry. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, there's no way I could do this right now. I keep telling her, I'm like, there's no way I could do this. She's like, okay. And I'm like, because I'm like super fucked up. And she's like, great. And I just keep repeating it to her. I'm like, yeah, you know, I was like, just saw the turns you made. There's no way I could handle this. She's like, all right, man. Like,
meanwhile, Diaz is doing his taxes. He's not even phased at all.
He's fine. And he also ate like 3. Yeah. And what he would do is he would, you know, the funny thing, he would do the podcast. He would talk at you for like 70 minutes straight, and then I was robbing this guy, and then you're like, God.
I remember doing his pot. Literally, I got so many messages. Don't take the drugs.
Oh, dude.
I got all those messages. Don't take the drugs. I was like, all right.
He talks so much, and you actually feel like you're like at a show or something, right? You're like, you're listening to him,
right.
And then like you're so like kind of mesmerized by all the wild shit he said, and then he's like, "What's going on with you?" And you're like, "After that," like, and then I'm like, I don't know. I just, you know, I have a book out, and then you look at him, he's like,
oh yeah,
he's like zonked.
Well, you know what's crazy is that like you're doing Colbert. It's like we're sending a COVID nurse. We're gonna take care of you. You do Joey's podcast. You're gonna get drugged.
Right.
More people might listen to this.
Oh yeah,
right.
Crazy.
Good
crazy.
point.
That's crazy to me.
This guy's kidnapped a person. He has an Uzi.
I remember that you used to encourage me to do this joke that would get me into trouble.
Which one?
Latino computers.
Oh, that's my favorite. I tell people that joke all the time.
Really?
People
will get so mad at me, man.
That's my favorite. I tell people that joke all the time. They go, what's Tom's act like before? I go, he used to have this really great joke about Latino computers.
It was a place on, I want to say it was on Vine, or between Vine and Fountain, you know, between Fountain and like Santa Clara, and it was called Latino Computers. That's what it said on a sign. So the joke was,
you used to do it real slow and calm.
Real slow.
Do you remember that? What, do you still do that style?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
Because you seem like more fluid here, and then on stage you go into a different Tom.
I'm usually a step slower on stage.
Yeah.
It would go. By the way, does it still exist if you type it in?
I was just looking for it. No, not easy to find.
It doesn't come up.
No, it got deported. The store.
I saw a I saw a place called Latino Computers, and I was like, Latino.
You want me to do the joke for you?
Do you know? You remember the joke?
Hell yeah, I remember the joke. I saw. I'm going to do it at your pace.
Okay.
I saw a store called Latino Computers. Latino Computers? Is that really how you really want to sell your store? Like, these computers aren't very fast, but they work really hard. And then the audience would always go, ooh, and you go, hey, it's better than black computers. They don't work at all, and they just talk a bunch of shit.
When we went on a field trip once in Milwaukee, and we went downtown, and we're at a stoplight, and this is like winter in Milwaukee, and there's this looked like maybe like a 19 to 20-year-old black dude, skinny black dude, standing at the corner, and we're all like sitting at the windows. We're in like 6th grade. We're like, eh. And he just pulls his pants down, takes his dick, and wags it at us all.
Just shook it like that. Like he had some extra drops in it.
Yeah. And we were all like, and then the bus takes off. And we were like, teacher, Miss Harlan. Like, it was the craziest. I mean, it was definitely still one of the biggest dicks I've ever seen.
Right.
I'll bet. He knew it too.
He knew
what he had.
It's going to be decades
He's
for
like,
see one.
all these kids want to see look at that shit right here.
Homeless people love to show you.
And he waves his dick at.
Don't say so.
My first